What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Most of you know that we just got back from Moab, Utah. We were there for an entire week for Easter Jeep Safari. It was also the first trip that we took the LJ out after doing the LS swap. Kind of got to take it for a shakedown and everything seems to be pretty good. However, there are a list of things that need to be fixed or kind of corrected, but I'm not going to worry about that in this video today. Today is going to be all about the Ford Bronco. Now, before all my Jeep people leave, hold on, because I'm actually putting a Jeep part on the Bronco. And before all my Bronco people leave, I think I'm going to show you a cheap way to add rock rails to your Bronco. I'm going to get the Bronco pulled in the shop so I can show you guys exactly what I'm talking about. I've had the Bronco for about 6 months. I've put almost 12,000 miles on it, and all of that has been on the road. I have not taken it off-roading yet. Before I take it off-roading, there is one key part I am missing on this thing, and that is some rock rails. Now, rock rails are really important because they protect your body. It is one of the most lowest and vulnerable points on your rig. If I were to go over a rock and come down, it would just smash right here, and that would be tons of money in body work and body damage that would need to be fixed. So we need to put some rock rails on this thing. Now, if I wanted to get the ones from Ford, they do offer them from the factory. It's about 500 bucks. And when I was building this Bronco, it was an expense I did not want to incur at the time. Now, there are aftermarket options, but they're 1,000 to 1,200 bucks, and I definitely don't want to spend that right at this point. I think the best option that we're going to be able to do is to use this set of Jeep Gladiator Rubicon rock rails, fab them up, and get them to fit on the Bronco. No one has done this before. We're not sure if it's gonna work. And based on where all the mounting points are, we think it's gonna be okay if we do a little bit of cutting and welding. So let's see if we can get these rock rails fabbed up on here so I can actually take this thing off-roading. Went ahead and got some measurements and drew them out on the whiteboard here. Luckily, it looks like this first set of mounts is actually going to line up perfectly under the Bronco, but the Gladiator rock rail is a lot longer than what we need on the Bronco. So first step is going to be cutting this to length so we can kind of push it up under there and maybe mock it up a little bit more.
Figure out how to figure this out because this is our daily driver right now, so. Can't go too far. We gotta pick up the kids in a few minutes.
Yeah, so this one, I don't think we're gonna have to cut this one off like completely, at least these two mounts. Now the rest of them, we're probably gonna have to chop them off and re-weld them somewhere.
Move them around, figure out how to bend these brackets or whatever, but.
First step, we need to chop the overall length. One more to go. We're gonna grind the back one off just like we did this one. We've pretty much just cut all around like this bracket here, and we're gonna do the same thing on here. That way we can keep all of our mounts. Last night we got the back two brackets cut off of the Gladiator rock rails. Now the front one luckily fit in kind of perfectly, so we didn't have to adjust or cut that one off. But these back two, we did have to cut them off, and you can see the bracket right here. So there's two pinch seam mounts here in the middle and then in the back. Now these, we're gonna be able to kind of tuck them under and mount them and then tack weld them for both the front and the back. Now there's 3 more mounts on like the body side and the back, and we're gonna do some bending, cutting. We're gonna have to fabricate those up because it kind of goes at an angle. So we're gonna do that after we get all of these tack welded in there. Keep in mind, these are not like heavy duty rock rails. These are just body mounted rock rails.
The heaviest duty.
Yeah, we're gonna be able to pivot on them and it's gonna be fine. No, so you can't like pivot on these, but these are still body mounted. They are not frame mounted. If you want something that's crazy hardcore.
Hopefully, yeah, I'm sure aftermarket's gonna come out with some either weld onto the frame or frame mounted like bolt-on sliders, because that's really where you get your strength from.
Yeah.
But I think for this, just so we can get out on the trails, this is gonna save the Bronco's butt a few times.
Exactly, and it's gonna get us out on the trails. So let's get the welder out and get these things tack welded on. Finished welding those two brackets onto the rock rails, and we went ahead and mounted them on the Bronco. It actually has a very factory look. I like it. It's definitely gonna do the job for now. I'm gonna crawl under here and show you guys exactly where we mounted them. So for the pitch seam mounts, which are these two guys right here, we didn't have to do anything on the front one. It was already the perfect length. This middle one is where we had to weld right along here. And then that's where we put the nuts on the bolts for the middle. And then same in the rear. We welded it on and then bolted it on. So these are all good to go. Now there are 3 more body mounts there, and there. I am either going to have to bend the mount we already have, or maybe just make a bracket for it. I'm not quite sure yet. In the meantime, I'm gonna get the other rock rail set up just like this one and then worry about those last 6 brackets at the end. Finished up the other rock rail. Now we have both of them mounted on the Bronco. They look pretty good. And now
I'd say they turned out really good.
They did, and we know that this actually works now.
Yeah. Even
though we only have these mounted on the pinch seam, the body mounts there on the bottom, they actually sell kits like this where they're not rock rails, they're just rails.
I think they call them pinch weld protectors, but they're $280.
And they're not technically rock rails, but it's to make it look better. And honestly, the Bronco looks better with these on it, because before it was just, you could see the mount all the way across. So even if we left this as is and just rolled with this, definitely think it looks better. Now, since I'm actually looking for some type of support or protection, we're gonna reuse the same bracket that we cut off of it. All we have to do is add like little cuts right here so that we can heat this up and bend it to get the angle right. So really, we're just changing the angle of this mount. So let's get back in the shop and finish these rock rails up. Oh, I forgot to show them the other side. Not that it's gonna look any different, but here it is right here. Here's the other side. It really kind of completes the look.
It looks a lot better. It was missing it.
Now, if only we can just compare it to the Gladiator down there in the corner. We'll have to pull them up and see if they really do kind of look the same, right?
Yeah.
We're doing the middle mount first. We're gonna bolt this bracket on, and then we are going to tack weld it, probably right over here, one on the back and one on the side. Take the rock rail off and then weld it completely on. We get a lift just to do work on the ground. Old habits. Just finished tack welding the rest of those body mounts on the rock rails. However, after that was done, I realized I can no longer remove the rock rails. So there is a little design flaw, but I do already have a fix for it. I'm gonna get under here and show you guys what exactly I'm talking about. All right, so under here, I'm gonna start with the bracket in the rear. It's the same problem for all of them. So what I did not realize or think about beforehand was these studs are a little longer than this gap I have right here, and I can no longer pull the rock rail off because the gap is too small. I can't wiggle them out. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut the studs out and I'm gonna replace them with bolts instead. That way these won't be a problem anymore and I can keep these same brackets. Now, in order to replace the studs, I will have to grind off my tack welds to pull this off, replace the studs with bolts, and then re-weld this on, which isn't that big of a deal. I'm gonna have to do that for all of them, all across the way, but I think that's I think that'll be a pretty good fix. I'm not sure why I didn't think of that sooner, but you know, typical life of a DIYer, I guess. Now, I don't have time to do that in this video because I'm actually headed to North Carolina. My sister got married and my brother is visiting from Alaska, so I wanna go visit some family while I have the chance to do so. But while I'm there, if I have time to fix this, I will show you guys what I did. If not, I will just do it when I get back to Oklahoma. But since the rock rails are on there, I might hit up Uwharrie while I'm there. My dad recently got a Humvee, so I'd love to take this and the Humvee out there and kind of pal around Uwharrie for a little bit, but we'll see what happens. We're gonna do a quick jack test to see, or to confirm that this can kind of hold a little bit of the weight of the vehicle just in case something happens on the trails.
I mean, you're definitely lifting it up.
Good.
It didn't deflect. Move it up some. Again, there is a mount right there, so it's probably strong.
Probably a good spot. I would likely hit a rock at one of the ends, really,
Yeah.
but that's decent. I mean,
Yeah.
it's going up. It's a little bend, but it's coming back. Nice. These will definitely do the trick. I'm gonna consider this project almost done. It's like 85% complete, currently buffering, but I will show you the final project in a couple of weeks when I'm able to replace the studs, re-weld the brackets on, grind it down, and paint it so it actually looks good underneath. But for $50 and about 4 hours of labor at this point, You cannot beat it. I have a set of rock rails on the Bronco now. I can take it off-roading, which is crazy to me because they sell rails for about 300 bucks, but they don't provide any structural or rock support, not rock support, but you know, like preventative body damage from rocks. They also sell rock rails for $600 to $1,200. I don't see anything out there on the market right now that I'm totally like falling in love with, which is why I didn't want to spend that much money on them. Now 50 bucks, 4 hours of labor, I got rock rails. Pretty exciting. So hoping to hit Uwharrie while I'm in North Carolina, but if not, I will be taking this down to Crossbar to test it there. They've got a good mix of trails. It'll be a good spot to really see where the Bronco stands as a stock vehicle. Now I'm not sure what the next upgrades will be to this thing. I know I want to change the tires out. I got some lighting I want to add to it. Really, I'm kind of waiting on the marketplace, on the aftermarket industry to kind of kick it into overdrive and get some new stuff released because I haven't seen anything that I really, really like yet. But let me know if there's something you've seen that you would love to see on a Bronco. I'm definitely open to ideas. As always, guys, give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Got a lot of fun stuff coming. I would say, my name's Cassie and keep Jeeping classy, but this is a Bronco. I worked on a Jeep part. I don't really know where I stand with that right now, so I will see you guys next time.